So we've talked a lot about the struggles of this Dallas Cowboys team. Obviously, the defense has been nothing to phone home about. So let's a little more pleasant. Dave, I brought in a really special guest, one of my dear friends, David D. Robertson. He is the wide receiver coach to Giant roster, you guys, is nothing short of epic. Des Bryant, Emmanuel Sanders, DJ Chark. It's unbelievable who you work with. So we're pumped to have you here, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure being on with you guys.
Awesome. Well, we know you're just hopping off the field because you always stay busy. So thanks for joining us. But again, I mentioned this defense has been a bit of a struggle, but a little shining point in this Cowboys team has been their wide receiver core. They have truly lived up to expectations. All three of the core guys are on track to be 1,000-yard receivers. You specifically also do some work with Michael from this Dallas Cowboys offense and truly the talent that they have on that team.
I'm seeing a lot of points, on the board. I'm seeing a lot of the wideouts. It's been a while since the Cowboys have, had this many, you got Amari Cooper making plays, Michael Gallup making plays. So it's very gratifying to see the offense move the ball so well and pass it so efficient. I'm excited about the offense, to be honest with you, and the way the passing game is going.
D-Rob, I know you've worked with Michael Gallup, and something that I wanted to ask you about, and I don't want to imply that he wasn't good at it before, but something that we've seen from Mike through these first 4 games is like this guy is a high point beast. Like he is absolutely incredible at going up to get the ball. I'm curious if that's something that he has worked on in recent off seasons. Like I said, I know he's always been able to do it, but it seems like it's on another level right now.
He's been working a lot this offseason. He's been working along with one of my other good receiver guys who trains as well, named Coach Bird, who also works with Cedric Wilson a little bit. He's been working with him, and then he'll come work with me as well, and as well as Dez. So I think that's been helping his game out a lot. Just picking the brain, from Des Bryant, being out there with us, as well as, being out there with his other receiver coach, putting his knowledge and my knowledge and Dez, what he's been giving on the inside, on route running, and just implementing it into his game and coming to his own. So I think it's helped a lot tremendously.
Well, let's talk about Des for a minute. If you've seen his in the lab post, 9 times out of 10, that is him working with you. What's the latest on our guy, 88?
Yeah, he's in a lot more better shape than he was when he had his workout with the Ravens. He's dropped about 8 pounds. The Denver Broncos, they reached out to me about him about 2 weeks ago, inquiring about him. The Baltimore Ravens, that deal is still on the table. He's still been in talks with them. And a few more teams have been talking to him, saying they're going to bring him in here in the next few weeks or on the bye week. I'm expecting something here to happen here pretty soon on him getting signed.
That's so exciting to hear. I think I probably speak for everybody that follows the Cowboys. Like, even if it's not for Dallas, I think everybody that watched Dez play just wants to see it again. And, I mean, you work with him more than anybody. If he does sign, yeah, what's that going to look like if he does get back out there?
Well, you're going to see, of course, he's a red zone specialist. So you're going to see the 88 and the X back in the end zone a lot because teams are going to use him a lot from the 30 or 40 and in. And I think you're going to see a lot of his game. He's going to play a lot of outside, of course, but he's going to do more of the 50-50 jump balls, the intermediate routes, the things that made him successful and the household name in the NFL is what you're going to see. And I see him with a team that's going to use him like a San Francisco. They use quick passing game. Baltimore Ravens, quick passing game, things like that. So I think if he gets with a team that uses his skill set the right way, you're going to see the Dez Bryant of old.
So you don't just work with the NFL pros, but also guys that are in high school, college, developing them as well. If you are a hometown friend of SMU, Reggie Robertson, I mean, listen, did you not watch the game this weekend? The guy was going off. Your sons are next level. But I have to think it has to be a little bit due to just the ingenuity of how you train them. I've come out to a couple of your practices before, and they're just different than what I've seen from a typical practice type situation. What's your technique and truly, your mad scientist? What can you let us in on in terms of your secrets and how you train these guys?
Well, every receiver that you train, they have something that's different about them that makes them tick, um, or getting the message through them. Because that's basically all it is just getting the message through the receiver, getting the best out of them. And I think what separates me or makes me different is I have a close and personal relationship, and it's different with every last one of them. Reggie Robertson, he's been around me since sixth, seventh grade. I've been around him before he even had his first scholarship offer. You know what I mean? So I know what to get Reggie to tick, stay hungry and stay consistent. Even when, his name starts getting out there, you start getting all his accolades and people start telling you how good you are. I'm the coach that's going to bring you back down the middle. So I think that's why a lot of guys mess with me. And, that's what separates me. I'm going to always keep it real with them. And even when they do good in their games or things like that, it's always something they can do better at. So I tend to point those things out often.
I'm really glad you brought that up because one thing that's really interesting to me is again, if you follow the Cowboys, you've probably seen D-Rob on your social channels working out with Dez or, viral videos of receiver workouts, things like that. When you talk about this is a career for you. Is social media what helps you get out there, or is it like word of mouth among all these receivers that are like, you got to come see my guy D-Rob, he'll get you right? What helps you the most when it comes to taking on, new guys that you can coach?
Well, mainly NFL wise, mainly it's being word of mouth. Now, when it comes to the high school kids and the middle school kids and things of that nature, a lot of that has been social media posts that I post, them seeing me work with a lot of NFL wideouts, and of course that's what they aspire to be. Um, and a lot of these NFL wideouts that work with NFL receivers when they come home in town for the off season to get in the group and work out with my up and coming high school receivers. So that way it's kind of like a big brother, little brother deal, and they can give them insight on how the NFL is and different techniques that I've shown them and things like that. And kids like that when they're working out with NFL guys, just so they can see actually how close they are to making it, and just to see how human that these guys are. They drop balls, they slip and fall, just like they do. So that's why you can never work on your craft too much. So that's why a lot of high school receivers love working out with my NFL wideouts, and that's what I do, man. Pretty much word of mouth, and like I say, high school, middle school kids, pretty much social media.
So I mentioned earlier this Dallas Cowboys defense is struggle streeting very hard, but you've got a client, Evan Ingram, who we are going to be facing this upcoming weekend. What does this Cowboys team have to look forward to in defending him? Because apparently we need all of the help we can get.
Oh, man. Now, yeah. What you're going to have to do with Evan, you're going to have to put a safety on him or your nickel or dime cornerback on him because he can run. He's a big body tight end, but he moves like a wide receiver. I think he ran like a 4.4 in his 40-yard dash, and he runs routes like a wide out. He kind of reminds me of Jordan Reed, another tight end who I work with who's made a name for himself a lot in this league. So I think what the Cowboys are going to have to do, they're going to have to they can run. I wouldn't put a linebacker or nothing like that on them because it'll be a field day, and you'll have a chance. But it's going to be tough to cover them, though. So I apologize, Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
We don't need another field day. We already got one of those, and it didn't. I'm over it. One's enough.
Yeah.
Good on that. D-Rob, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for joining us. Guys, you can find D-Rob and all his clinics, his work, anything you need to know about him, follow him on social media, drobalwaysopen and drobalwaysopen.com. D-Rob, thank you.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Coming up next, we're taking your questions, and we're going to do our best to solve these Dallas Cowboys problems before